Well, good morning, folks. It's Richard here. Cold morning. Well, because it's winter time. It's currently about 31 degrees this morning. The surface temperature's at 46 on top. I expect it to warm up 3 or 4 degrees today because it's going to be a sunny day. 5 mile per hour winds coming out of the west, excuse me. That's pretty good because usually, ever since fall started, folks, the wind has been howling here in North Alabama. So today I'm going to take advantage of not much wind, and we're going to do a little crappie fishing, and that's all there are to it. Before we catch them, we got to find them. Excuse me, it's cold. So stay with me a few minutes if you don't care, and let's see what we can do. This is a vintage reel. It's a Garcia Mitchell 308 loaded with 4-pound test Mr. Crappie. And this is a jig pole made by All Star. It's 8 feet long. Real sensitive. And for the bait, I'm using a hair jig. This is a Perry Pippinger jig. I'm going to start off with a natural color. It's gray and blue. Got a little silver on it. And I have this jig tied with a loop knot. And we're going to vertical jig around some of these posts right here and see if there's a few crappie hanging around. The water is extremely low. If I don't do any good working with this pattern, I'm probably going to get on the edge of the creek, which is right behind us, and fish stumps and see if we can catch a few. If that don't work, I'm going to have to keep hunting. That's crappie fishing, but this water is extremely low, and the depth of this water is averaging about 8 to 9 feet right here. So I don't have a clue. I'm just going to have to hunt them. Let's catch a crappie. There we go. There we go. Well, that ain't much of a fish, folks. I had to change up what I was doing. I had to back off where the actual break line is right here. And that's the first crappie of the day. Little black crappie, very important crappie now, folks, because the water is down extremely low. So I think I'm going to have to fish right on the break line. Now right here, you can see that I'm in 11 feet of water. And there's a few shad showing right in here. Scattered up schools. Let's keep trying this and see what else we can do. Let's let him go. Little black crappie. Go on back, boy. I'll show y'all what I'm doing. Right there is the drop off. In other words, from the bank to here, well, I threw in 11 feet of water. It tapers down, and then abruptly it has about a 3-foot drop to 11 feet of water, if y'all can imagine that. And that's where I got the first bite right here. And there's nothing special about it except for it's just a drop off. So I really don't know if I need to focus on this a lot, but I did just get another bite. That means something. Pretty tough conditions like this. But now I always mention that it's tough, it's tough, it's tough, but we've been having some weather here in North Alabama. No doubt. So right now I'm coming off the drop off, and I got hung. I say nothing special. That's about where I caught that fish, folks, about right there. So there's a little object right here that I didn't see on my depth finder. So what I'm going to do is focus on that. I'm going to get this jig loose if I can. And being that the water's pulling pretty hard, that fish was no doubt behind that object. So it's a little minutia right there, a little bit of deal right there. So if I catch another fish or two right here, what I'm going to do is look for stumps. And that's what this is a stump. And we broke it off. I knew we would. But let's try right in here a little bit longer. There's no doubt in my mind that crappie was holding right behind that stump. There's a stump row right down through here. So I've got to get that jig precisely, and it was right there. Behind that stump. There we go. It's a pretty good crappie right here. Come on back here, boy. Or is it a crappie? Yeah, it is. It's a pretty good one. Man, that fish was moving on out. Quit. Alright, let's flip him in here. It's a white crappie. That's a good fish. That fish is around 10.5 inches long. Beautiful fish. Ain't that pretty? Maybe we figured out a little pattern right here. It took me a little time, but let's let him go. There he goes. Now, I started off with a natural color. Now I'm using a golden chartreuse. Now, folks, the reason why is because I've moved a little bit farther up in here, not far, but the watercolor changed. It got a little bit more dingier than what I started off in. So yeah, golden chartreuse, that's one of my favorite colors, whether it be plastic or a hand-tied jig to catch crappie. I'm gonna say they could be a crappie right there. Be honest with you. There he is too. What about that? I called that one. Called that shot right there. That's a decent white crappie right here. Quit. Look at him. I'm just gonna let him wear out. I'm gonna just flip him on in here. He's hooked good. Usually I'll use a net, but I tell you, when they're hooked like that right there, they're hooked. Now this is just a size 6. I'm just using a size 6 sickle hook is what's on this little jig head. That's plenty. It's a pretty fish right there. Ain't nothing like that right there. Let's let him go. Real important to be real quiet, folks, especially in an aluminum boat. Make as little racket as you possibly can. Now you can talk and scream and whatever, but it's dropping objects and stuff like that. You can spook fish and spook them quick. I got him that time. Y'all seen that, right? Good fish too. I ain't seen him yet, but he's a good one. I feel them head shakes. May have to net this one. Look at here. I want you to pull. Why don't you pull a little bit, Fee? He's hooked good. Let's do this. Boom. Just like that right there. Okay. Beautiful black crappie. There ain't nothing wrong with that right there. Not only is this a lot of fun, it's a lot of challenge. Finding the right color, right depth, working the bait the right way results in a crappie fish. Bursell finally made a decision to get him a toupee because right in the center of his head he's got a patch. It's missing. and he don't want people looking at him. Let's catch another one.
Richard, that Elmo told me he was a good barber. I just want you to look what that rascal has done to me. He's kept me alive, man.
Let's come back right down through there again. I'm just letting that jig fall to me, and when it gets down there around 8 feet deep, the fish is hitting around 8 feet deep right here, and there he is. That's a good one. Good one. Look here, it's a real good one. This is a big old black crappie. Look here, folks. Whew. It was just like snapping your fingers. My goodness. Let's see how he's hooked. I'm going to go ahead and net this one right here. The gold is doing it. Now, I tell you, I get a lot of questions about colors. How important are they? They're very important. A lot of times I hadn't had to do it today because I started off with a gold and a silver. I went from one extreme to the next, or to the other. But look at there, what a good crappie. That's a good one. And he's tagged right here. Golly. I'm going to let this one go. Now, I made a mistake of keeping one time. Somebody else may catch this fish, but it's got a tag. I'm going to let him go because I didn't enter anything. Of course, nothing may not be going on right now. I don't know. I'm not really on my home waters right here. But let's let that fish go. That fish is probably about 12 and a half, 12 and 3/4. Let him go. Good fish. But a lot of times, going back to what I was saying, I have to go through a lot of different colors. That's the wrong rod, Richard. That's the one that broke off. To figure out what color they'll bite, because colors do make a difference. There's no doubt in my mind about that, because I have went through areas, folks, with a color that I thought that the fish would hit, knowing there was crappie there, and then keep switching, all of a sudden hit a magic color and start catching fish. So I'm not going to say that's an opinion. I believe it's a fact that colors do make a difference. Right now, I wouldn't have any color tied on but this one right here. Golden chartreuse. Let's catch another one. Well, folks, that's going to end it. I tell you what, had a fantastic morning here on the Coosa River. Great technique. I just call it long poling. You have incredible control over your bait using this. I'm going to call it a technique. Somewhat of a vertical presentation, keeping that bait in front of that crappie's nose. That's the main thing, no matter how you fish for crappie, in my opinion. Thank y'all very much for watching. All the great comments, everything y'all do for this channel. Hey, on your next fishing trip, enjoy it. Take your time, we'll catch more fish. Whoa. Remember, go fishing when you can, because it's good for you.